All right. That sound all right?
Yeah, yeah. Me?
Yeah,
I've
you
moved
sound
this
good.
microphone some. I got a different chair that's sitting lower because the other one squeaks so much.
Rad. Um, let's see. Intro, email, website. John Nee is new publisher. Buckley to president. Uh,
Is dude still
brief
editor in chief?
for now.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Marvel sales again. Just a quick blurb about that. Then we'll talk about the X-Men thing. Okay. All right. You got the intro ready?
Yeah. Give me just a moment.
Yeah, sure. Take your time.
I'm going to pull up those sales.
I can send you the article I'm looking at.
No, I've seen the article, but I actually want to see the sales.
Well, okay.
Well, send me the article too if you want to.
Yeah. You know, I kind of hate on Bleeding Cool, but they're better at news than pretty much everybody else that's doing this.
You do hate on Bleeding Cool, but they're better at it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's like admitting that, yeah, TMZ, it's celebrity gossip bullcrap, but it's accurate. All right, I'm just gonna put it in the chat. There you go.
Yeah. Let me click on that real quick because I think I read the article we're talking about, but I want to make sure.
Yeah, it's probably the same one you read.
Back. I need to do a better job of putting these articles up on the website.
I should have sent that one to you to put on the website. That would have been a good one. That Vulture thing would be good too. That Vulture article on Dan Slott. We can talk about that too. Hey, we can just podcast for 3 hours. Who gives a gosh darn? Speaking of almost swearing, how do you feel? How would you? What do you think of the idea of me just like going and sitting on the back row at uh, the healing place for a while?
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, I recommended that to you a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no.
Slide in, sit there and shit. Matter of fact, I got a 9 o'clock service, man. So you could go,
Straight
straight
from work. Yeah, I knew
straight
they
from
had that
work
9 o'clock
there,
service.
and hang out at the 9 o'clock service, be at the door by 10 and home by 10:30. Well, yeah, probably 10:15, 10:30. But I mean, they turn it around quick because they got the 11 o'clock service.
Right. Yeah, I might do that.
I like Randy.
Yeah.
He,
Is Chris
he's
still
got
going there? Or did he?
yeah.
Okay. He got
No.
upset with
He's
him for a
going.
minute. So I
He
knew that.
did, but he's going because he visited other church and realized they're the best thing going. So
Okay.
it's one of those things. You always think grass is greener on the side, then you get to the other side, and you're like, well, they suck too.
Mm-hmm. No, today I stayed here and played Fallout 4 and realized that I developed an itch to dive back into Fallout 4 after that missile alert in Hawaii, and that's probably not healthy thought patterns.
Probably not. No.
Oh, I'm gonna play some Fallout 4 and remind myself how I'll have to live in the wasteland after Trump nukes the world.
Now I'm ready.
Oh,
All
who
right,
are
I'm
we
ready.
this week? We got to figure that out.
We are Dan Slott and Peter Parker.
Okay. All right. 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 month behind podcast for the week of 1/15/18. I am Pat.
And I, as always, am Sean.
Yeah, you don't watch The Big Bang Theory, but like last week in The Big Bang Theory, they're doing this thing where Raj is speaking, and every week, every show he would like draw out the ending a little bit more, and that reminded me of what you're doing. You're like drawing an I am Sean. In every episode, he'd like draw it out just a little bit more. It's anyway. What is up? We're here to talk about the Marvel, the comics that came out in Marvel Unlimited this week. And this week we are Dan Slott and Peter Parker, because after X number of years, they're parting ways.
Yep, 10 years, 101 issues, I think, after he finishes.
Something like that.
Dan Slott will be moving on to writing Iron Man.
Yeah, I hope he has a 10 run there. 10-year run.
10-year
run there also.
Yeah. He didn't go to DC, so that's good.
Yeah, there you go. That's very good.
Yeah, Tom King signed an exclusive deal with DC recently, so hope you weren't wanting any more of that Vision series.
He's been doing so much work for DC, and he does so much work for DC. Is that Vision series the only thing he did for Marvel?
It might be. Maybe one or two other things, but it wasn't a whole lot before he was just like, I don't know, maybe DC's writing bigger checks these days, man.
I'm right, because I'm reading that Omega Men series that he wrote, which was 12 issues. It's great. I'm reading his Batman stuff. It's great. And he was...
Wait, he's writing Batman?
Yeah.
Like currently writing Batman?
Yes, that's why I pick it up on the rack.
Oh, dang, I didn't realize he was writing Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
Maybe I'll go buy Batman.
Yeah, it's good, man. So we're going to discuss spoilers on the show. If you haven't figured it out, what you've just heard, yes, we are going to discuss spoilers. We're saying that early because there's going to be some in the news section at the top. So we're warning you now. If you don't want to know about spoilers, you might need to skip past the news and maybe skip back to comics too, and like come back when you've decided you want to hear what we're talking about.
When you've decided to type in your favorite comic book news website and just see it, and you're like, "Oh, oops." That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, let me check the headlines here," and I'm like, "Oh, that's happening." Okay.
I don't know how you don't see the news.
I do
and
sometimes.
Stay current on comics. I'm up to stand and just do it because it's I can't stay current and run the website and talking to podcasts without like seeing the news.
Yeah, but
yeah. I'm gonna miss Dan Slott on Spider-Man, but
me too. Yeah, I mean it's been a long time.
That article that you read, that he like started planning his departure 4 years ago.
Yeah, and he's been like doing a countdown on his Instagram like weekly for 4 years now or something. Yeah, he had all this planned out.
Yeah.
And I really started reading Spider-Man consistently during Dan Slott's run, right after Day or whatever it was. Brand New Day was him on it. And they rotated like 4 writers for a while, but he stuck around. And yeah, man, it's been some of the best Spider-Man writing in decades. You got Spider-Verse, Spider Island's good. You got this new Doc Ock. You had Superior Spider-Man. You've had all these Spider characters be created.
Yeah, and all of that goes back to Dan Slott.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's the man.
So end of an era, but we had another end of an era too. Dan Buckley is no longer publisher at Marvel. They have hired John Nee, who was the president at Wildstorm. So Marvel poaching one of DC's guys. So there's that.
That's good.
And Dan Buckley is going to be president of Marvel Publishing.
I hope these guys know what they're doing.
Me too. And like CB Cebulski just signed an exclusive deal with one of the female writers whose name I just forgot. I don't remember. Anyway, and he's known for being a talent guy. Cebulski, I think, got hired because he's a talent guy. He has good connections, so and good relationships. So I think they understand that they're losing their talent and need to rebuild their bench. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Also, lots of shaking up happening, which is what we wanted. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch, and
yeah, well, it's needed.
Yeah, it really is. Kelly Thomas is who Marvel just signed an exclusive deal with. She's been writing. She's been writing for them for a little while. I forget what she's writing. Anyway,
another piece of news, and we discussed before we went on to air whether or not we were going to discuss this. Is about several months ago, Marvel did a save the date story. And it didn't say who was getting married. It was just a wedding announcement that said, save the date. And they didn't announce which characters would be getting married or which ones would or where. And this is where we warned you about spoilers. So you're getting a last warning here to exit. Well, it turns out it's Kitty Pryde and Peter Rasputin, Colossus.
Yeah, Shadowcat and Colossus.
Shadowcat and Colossus, or whatever she's calling herself now.
The OG Kitty Pryde couple.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is I read this article that like traced their relationship, and when she joined the X-Men and gets this crush on him, and they like first kiss and everything, she's like 14. She is 14, and he's 19. I mean, it says it in the comic books. And the article I have actually shows the panels where they're talking about their ages. I mean, she's 14 and he's 19. And that's just, I don't know, man. That's just kind of.
Yeah. And like now they're both adults and it's not like a huge gap. But at the time, 14 and 19 is technically illegal.
Yeah. And
in most states.
Yes. It was. And like, technically they didn't kiss unless you're in Alabama. Like they didn't kiss until she was like 14. But okay, she's still 14, dude. Like at 13 and a half, she had a crush on him and nothing ever happened. But at like 14, they actually kissed.
At 13, it had only been 2 years since she'd been playing with dolls.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah. As you and I have rediscovered recently, people have short memories because the 60s and 70s was kind of a different time depending on what culture you grew up in, particularly here in America.
Yeah.
I mean, people want today that is considered somewhat, pretty taboo. It wasn't always that way. We like to think it was, but it wasn't.
Oh, dude, you should go back and read it, like the first 100 issues of Fantastic Four. I mean, it was like Reed Richards just telling Sue, just shut up, go,
go clean
the kitchen, make me a sandwich, and have another baby.
Yeah,
yeah, that's dude, and it was. I think it was when Roy Thomas was writing it in the 150s or 160s that he started gearing up her power and actually making her a character. And I was reading those books the other day, but because we, I think we did a Luke Cage. Didn't we do some kind of Luke Cage? We did something with Luke Cage, and he was actually a member of the Fantastic Four for a few issues. And I went back and read those issues. Yeah.
Okay.
And Ben Grimm got depowered. And they, Luke Cage was hero for hire, so they hired him because they needed some muscle.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, but I went back and reading it, and that was right about the time, and that's right about the time I started reading Fantastic Four too. That's that's when I was like 8 or 9 and just first started buying comic books, and that's when they started powering up her abilities, gearing up her abilities, and making her a real character that could do something, which was really cool. She's the one. Matter of fact, she took out the Hulk in one of those issues. It wasn't one of them. It was Sue Storm that took out the Hulk, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, man.
Anyway, Yeah, it was just anyway. It's
That's the thing that's happening.
yeah, but dude, 14 to 19. That's an age difference.
Yeah. You know,
I,
you dig back into those old Captain America comics, you find some weird stuff too. So, you know,
yeah, I guess, man.
there, you know,
And you don't find any African Americans.
well, when you do, it's there are panels of Captain America using the term darky. So, you know,
I know.
it's a different time, man. It was a different time.
It was, yes.
Yeah. But
Yes.
but now Kitty and Colossus are both, grown adults.
Sure.
And yeah, as long as they don't de-age her like they have, I mean, all those female characters have kind of, they're doing it now with Hellcat. Her age is nebulous. They did it with Squirrel Girl.
Dude, her age is all over the place, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. We don't want to talk about Squirrel Girl because that's just weird.
No. Um One more just little tidbit. Pat, did you know that we live in a world where Squirrel Girl outsells cable in comic book stores?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I've actually got the sales open in front of me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave that out there. We'll put the article up on the website. If you get into like the sales stuff, some interesting insight into what the sales at Marvel mean and where they really ought to be going. Spoiler alert, it's definitely the collections market.
And here's the thing. I mean, if you look at DC, here's the top 10. Okay. Doomsday Clock, Dark Knight's Metal, Phoenix Resurrection, Return of Jean Grey, Batman 36, Batman 37, Batman White Knight. That White Knight stuff is good, man. Dude, it's good. Amazing Spider-Man, Venom Incorporated, Marvel 2-in-1 #1, and Hawkman Found and Amazing Spider-Man 792. If you take out the #1s or the first issues that Marvel has, the only book they even have in the top 10 is Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep. Which is always there.
Yeah. And then it's Star Wars. And dude, then you get into like the low, dude, you're in the 20s or 30s before you consistently start seeing Marvel comics.
Yeah.
Holy cow, man.
Dude, I think you drop your single issue price by $1 because if DC can do it, why can't you? And by the way, they're buying up all the talent in the sphere, so what are they doing that you're not doing?
Dude, it's just, anyway, it's bad, man.
It's rough. We won't get super into it.
No.
Anyway, like we told you, spoilers earlier. Now we're going to get into talking about Secret Empire, our books this week.
If you want to tweet us about this, you can tweet us at
6 months behind. That's at the number 6 months behind, which also happens to be our email, 6 months behind @gmail.com. That's the number 6 months behind @gmail.com.
That also happens to be our website, which is 6monthsbehind.com.
Right. We forgot to plug that at the top of the show.
Yeah.
So we're doing it now.
We also have
talk about Secret Empire.
We also have a What Next that we're recording today about Planet Hulk. I went back and reread Planet Hulk one of the days I was iced in, and I didn't realize how much of that. I mean, it's like Rock was Planet Hulk, but I went back and reread it, and it's like the wormholes from Planet Hulk. They're like the whole thing is from Planet Hulk. That doesn't involve Asgard. The whole storyline.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
From the wormhole to the Hulk being there to dude. In Planet Hulk, it's not Thor, it's the Silver Surfer.
Oh, okay.
But I'm telling you, man, the first half of Thor Ragnarok is Planet Hulk.
Ooh, now that Marvel has the Silver Surfer back, that'll be interesting. Anyway, in
Secret
terms of
Empire.
yeah, Secret Empire.
Yep. Secret Empire number 33. I'm getting there. I'm changing gears.
Deadpool number 33.
Comic books. Yes, Deadpool number 33. I'm going from sales to comics.
Yeah.
Which just threw me out because
apps.
This is where God forbid we blame Steve Jobs for it.
Yeah. Curse you, Steve Jobs. You cursed us with these cell phones we're addicted to.
Which, yes, he did. We discussed a few weeks, months ago, a few issues ago, Deadpool really started getting good.
This is the issue that it started getting good.
And this is where it continues.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the issue where it killed Coulson is where it started getting good.
Yeah, you're right. But things amp up pretty hardcore in this issue.
Yeah, and they're continuing that way. I mean, it begins with Deadpool and Steve Rogers, and Deadpool's like, my life has always sucked, but lately Steve Rogers has made it suck more. And he's right, man. And I won't tell you how the whole Deadpool Secret Empire thing ends, but it just sucks, man. I mean, it really, really sucks for Deadpool. It does. I mean, let me put it this way. They have renamed the Deadpool. If you look at those sales figures, the name of the book now is actually The Despicable Deadpool. That's how bad his life sucks. So we open with he and his daughter, they're at school, and Ellie has beat up people, and she did it well because I YouTubed it. Well, how many hits did you get in the video view or the attack, which I thought was pretty funny. Then Deadpool beats up the principal. They steal his wallet and leave. And poor Ellie just wants to go home, man. She just wants to go home. And Deadpool can't get around to telling her that, she's never going to get to go home again.
Yeah. Home.
And
this is home now.
Yeah. Yeah. What we're doing is home, and it's going to be your home for the foreseeable. And I didn't know she was a mutant.
I didn't either. I think, is it revealed in this issue?
I don't know if it's revealed in this issue or if it had been revealed before.
And just nobody had done anything with it.
Yeah, but it makes sense. I mean, she's Deadpool's daughter, so
yeah, it does.
Yeah. So then we cut to Preston, right as the dome falls over New York, and she's got agents coming to get her, and it doesn't take her long to realize that, these aren't your normal S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. These are S.H.I.E.L.D. / Hydra. This of them fairly quickly and comes across Deadpool, who is coming to check on her and Ellie, and Preston wants to go check on Coulson. Going on. And Deadpool tries to dissuade her and talk her out of it because Deadpool knows what's there and what she might find. And, then he gets there and he kind of brushes it off saying, maybe Coulson really wasn't in this fire that happened. And turns out Preston's got a camera where she saw the whole thing happened. And then she watches it. And, when Deadpool comes out, she smacks him, and it's going to go down between them next issue.
Yep.
And then we cut back to Ellie and Deadpool in locking her up in a Hydra facility, or as an apartment, which is a Hydra facility, because she just can't go be with them anymore. And from there, he gets an X-Wing fighter and goes to get the Trapester to launch.
That wasn't an X-Wing fighter, wasn't it?
It's an X-Wing fighter, yes.
Yeah, like I looked at that, I was like, that looks like an X-Wing.
Yeah.
It's an X-Wing.
Dude, it's an X-Wing fighter.
And I mean, it's Deadpool, and Marvel owns, or Disney owns Star Wars, so they can do that now.
Yeah. I'm looking at it. I mean, it's an X-Wing fighter, man. It's anyway. Yeah, and from there he gets he calls the Trapester, and they're going to break somebody out of jail. Good issue, man. Very good issue.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yep. Next up, we have Uncanny. What do we have?
We have Secret Warriors number 4.
There you go.
It was okay. You start out with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and Quake and that whole team. Mr. Hyde has showed up. to take them down, along with Scarlet Witch and Vision, Deadpool, and Taskmaster. And if you don't know, Mr. Hyde is a B-list Hydra bad guy who also happens to be Quake's dad. So super awkward. Moon Girl and
we know that.
Do we know that? Yeah, that's her origin.
I know. I mean, do we know that before now? I guess I did.
Yeah, it's talked about in her origins that she's the daughter. Yeah, one of the bad guys, Mr. Hyde. Okay. Here. So anyway, their team, the two teams duke it out. Karnak and Taskmaster go at it, and Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur up against Deadpool. Pretty much the whole issue here, and it's funny stuff. Mr. Hyde's team wins. They get captured. They're on the helicarrier. Quake breaks the helicarrier apart with her powers because her father's too dumb to know that her powers still work without her gloves. They're all trying to escape while the X-Men show up for some reason. I was confused here because the X-Men show up and it's Archangel and Sunfire, who we see later in one of the X-Men books opposing one of the other X-Men teams. I don't know where they stand in this whole thing. I'm confused. Are they with Hydra or are they not with Hydra?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what New Tien. What do we call it?
Tien. I've heard it both ways.
Anyway, that's what New Tien is a mutant state that's allied with Hydra.
Right.
So are they allied with Hydra? Kind of, because they have to do things to pacify Steve Rogers to keep their independence.
Right. Anyway, the whole helicarrier is going to come down, but Moon Girl has to go save Devil Dinosaur. While she's doing that, she meets Lear, who's the Inhuman that Karnak said they have to find in order to end all this. Turns out he doesn't have any powers at all. He's not been exposed to the mists. He's just a dude. And the helicarrier crashes with both of them on it. So, yeah, maybe Moon Girl's dead. Bet not.
Nah, of course not.
No, she's running around with Venom later.
Yeah. That brings us to Amazing Spider-Man number 30, which is also a Secret Empire crossover. Let me say this. Mm-hmm. First off, you always get an Alex Ross cover. So those are always good.
How many of these has he done now?
Well, all 30 issues.
Yeah, I guess so. Alex Ross has done a cover for 30 issues of Spider-Man. Man.
Plus all the Avengers covers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he's racking up a tally. That always looks good. It's drawn by Stuart Inman and colored by Marty Garcia.
I like Stuart Inman.
Marty Garcia. And I'm going to tell you, man, it's a combination. I actually I read it again and just looked at the art or the color. Excuse me, the color. And the art is good, but the color is what really makes this book pop. It just really does. And it's the darks and the lights and the reds of Parker Industries and Spider-Man and the purples and the green of Doc Ock. It's just, dude, the colors in this thing just really make this book pop.
Yeah, you can say that about a lot of these books. That's really where Marvel's excelling in the art department.
Yes, it is.
I mean, look at that Daredevil book. It really shines there. Right. I've been enjoying the art that Marvel's been doing lately.
And that's the thing, is as we beat on ourselves, there are good books out there. Everybody beat Secret Empire to death. Okay, just it's awful. It's this, it's that. That Deadpool series is great. The Spider-Man series is great. Secret Empire itself is it's a political statement about how evil corrupts. But it's a good book, man. And the books that are coming out now that Marvel's doing are good books. Dave's just gotten so much bad press. I'm digressing here, and I realize that, and we'll circle back to Amazing Spider-Man. I watched this guy, and he does a different podcast than Rob, but he and Rob basically podcast together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they're friends. And he got a video this week. I meant to send it to you. And it talks about how he's retooling his podcast, all the things he's having to do to get financing because YouTube keeps screwing around with his money.
Oh,
even though
that's a whole nother thing we could talk
about. That's a whole nother thing. But, he keeps having to readjust things. And he talked about, okay, now what he basically does is review a book at a time, and he reviews a book a day. Well, at the numbers, per week, he's doing 4 or 5 DC books and 1 or 2 Marvel books because nobody was watching his Marvel videos. For every DC video he puts up about a DC comic book, the metal, dark metal or whatever it is, and the Batman books, Batman, whatever he puts up for DC will outdraw Marvel 4 or 5 to 1 on his viewerships.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, you know what?
It's just where the fire's at now.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just not putting Marvel videos out until people start watching it. Dude, he's just not, man.
Heck of a time to be a Marvel
I'm
fan.
going to send it to you. Yeah, but they're good books, man.
I mean,
they're good books.
And do you sometimes wonder if the people complaining about the books aren't actually reading them?
I wonder if all the people who complained about Secret Empire actually stuck around and read all 10 issues.
I doubt they did.
Or if as they were reading Secret Empire, they were reading Captain America Sam Wilson and seeing the other side of the argument. Because it's one thing to read Captain America Steve Rogers. Then when you read Captain America Sam Wilson, who's also written by Nick Spencer. Okay, same guy, same plot.
Right.
He's presenting the flip side of it. So it's 2 sides of an argument, and all anybody did was beat him up for Secret Empire and making Captain America a Hydra agent, but you miss all of the positive that he did in Sam Wilson and some of these other books.
Right. Like the whole point of the series is to make you think about these things.
Yeah.
And people just were so disgusted by it, they didn't even give it a chance.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of them did read it.
I think the people who do like Secret Empire are the ones who stuck around, or at least didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so we start this issue with Spider-Man in Washington. He's left London, where the Parker Industries building in London was blown up by Doc Ock in the last issue. He's now there in Washington, where the heroes just got stomped. And apparently there's no one else to assume command, so Spider-Man does it. And sets about saying, we're going to retreat. We've got our butts kicked here. We're going to regroup. And some of the heroes don't want to, but he realizes it's the thing to do.
Yeah, I like how he really steps up. Like for that moment, he's the leader of the heroes.
Right.
He's the general on the field at that moment. And, for someone who was never an Avenger for so long, to step into a role like that, I was proud of Peter Parker in that moment.
Yeah, on page 6, we have him kissing Bobby Marcy for the first time.
Oh yeah, that happened.
What do you think of that?
I like that. In fact, leading up to this, because they'd been flirting a little bit occasionally, I was like, I think I like the two of them together. They're really trying to make her the like super awesome scientist lady, and you pair that with Peter Parker, and I think that's a good pairing. Doesn't mean it'll last because he's Peter Parker, but
it's lasting for now. It's ongoing in the current books, so at least for now it's sticking around.
That's good.
So yeah. Anyway, so Doc Ock launches his attack on
Parker
San Francisco, expecting to find. Yeah. And that's what I said, Parker Industries in San Francisco. Yeah. He expects to find Peter there. He doesn't, because Peter has regrouped to Shanghai, and that's where he's decided he's going to make his last stand. And, of course, Doc Ock eventually makes his way there. Peter's got a plan to fight him, but, dude, one step ahead the whole time. Yo.
Yeah, I'm here. What are you
Well, I
doing?
didn't hear you. I was waiting on you.
You just stopped talking.
Well, I kind of finished. You're gonna have to edit this out.
Yeah, I texted you. You're lagging pretty bad.
Well, I think it was that page I had open with that story. It was screwing up my internet. Am I still lagging?
Yeah, it's been a thing.
Well, had open. What's that story was had a bunch of trash on it. Had a bunch of bad ads. Hang on.
Dude, get an ad blocker.
Oh, yeah, I need to.
Why have you not had one installed?
No, I mean I do, but it's dude, nothing had pop-ups. Not pop-ups. They were on the side.
Yeah, but I didn't get any of that because I have a ad blocker installed. I have a couple of them.
Okay, how are we doing now?
Better. We'll see how it goes.
It should be better. Hang on. Since you're gonna have to edit this out, it should be better. I just closed everything, and I'm pretty sure it was that page that was
you're
trashing my
literally
internet.
your video just went away.
It got that bad. But is it better now?
Yeah, you're better now. Okay.
I was watching it for a minute, and I was fairly certain it was that page. And I meant to close it earlier, but we talked about it, and then I forgot to close it after we talked about it.
That's all good.
All right. So anyway, here we go.
So you're done with Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah. Did you have any comments on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Did you have any comments on Amazing Spider-Man, or you just want to pick it up with the next book?
I said yeah.
Oh, all right. Pick it up.
I said Uncanny Avengers. 3 times.
Okay.
Okay.
Uncanny Avengers number 25.
Yeah, Uncanny Avengers number 25. So this book is fine. It's the Uncanny Avengers fighting the demons in the Dark Force dimension over Manhattan is really all this is. There's some cool bits with Dr. Voodoo getting his body possessed by a demon and he has to borrow a body for a while, and yeah, but it's 31 pages of a big old brawl.
Yeah, which isn't bad. I kind of enjoyed it.
Actually. Yeah, it was nonstop action. So if you've missed some of the action in this series, which I have to say, Secret Empire, a lot of heady ideals going on, so you're getting a lot of dialogue. It's nice to have one of these that's just, we're just going to punch demons in the face for the whole issue.
Yeah. Speaking of heady dialogue, that brings us to our X-Men books, which are X-Men number 7, X-Men Blue number 7. And you have the young X-Men team led by Jean Grey, basically freeing mutants from a detention camp that's actually in New Tian. And then you have the hierarchy there in New Tian, which is in Utopia again, which is Emma Frost and Beast and Sebastian Shaw. We're just going to ignore Zorn because Emma's mind controlling him.
Right. He's just a puppet.
Right. At one point, he tries to say something nice, and then you notice after that he says everything hateful when Emma takes control of his mind.
Smacks him back down.
Yeah. And they're discussing the fact, this is maybe these kids aren't wrong for actually standing up to it. And then I'll say, well, she may not be, but they may not be, but we're going to smack them down because we can't risk the peace that we have with Hydra America.
Right. They're a threat to our foreign policy initiatives with Hydra. So therefore.
Yeah.
Do you think this was the ultimate trap to give Steve Rogers to give the X-Men what they wanted, which was their own nation, and they start thinking that way? And so they start, it's a new way to create division among them. It was basically just something for them to occupy themselves with while he ruled the world.
He needed them off the board and he knew
Yeah.
however this worked out, this got him off the board.
It's like when in Game of Thrones, in the second book, Tyrion becomes Hand of the King and he makes peace with Dorne. And when no one understands why, he's like, well, there are enemies. We make peace with our enemies. That's what we do.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the understanding of these people need to not be a thing or an issue.
Yeah. Right. I just need to not deal with them right now.
Yeah.
So the X-Men Blue Team retreats to its base, where they're soon followed and attacked by Firestar, Mondo, Marl, Wolfsbane, and Toad. And then Archangel joins in, and then Havoc joins in, and it's just all.
Yeah, this is the same team we saw beating up on Moon Girl in the gang in Secret Warriors.
Okay, I was like trying to hold that sneeze until the end of the review, and I couldn't make it.
It's okay. That happens sometimes.
So, when you got that on the air, I'm sorry. I did my best. Yeah, and they just pretty well stomped this X-Men Blue Team. Just put a hole in them.
They're teenage X-Men, dude.
Yeah. Then at the end, Cyclops wakes up and Emma Frost is in his mind. And you sent me a text this week, and I was wondering if this page is where it came from.
About where Cyclops went wrong?
Yes.
If you look at the life of Scott Summers, it's just trauma and tragedy one after the other.
Dude, from Uncanny #1 on. And I mean Uncanny #1 in 1963.
But there was a breaking point. There was a point where he went to the dark side. And I think he started going down that path when him and Emma Frost got together.
Yeah.
I think he'd been standing at that crossroad for a minute, and he chose, he had two paths. It was the Jean Grey path and the Emma Frost path, and Emma Frost was the dark side.
Well, Jean was dead at the time.
Yeah, but
or were they phoning around before Jean died? They might have been.
Yeah, there's in New X-Men, there's some stuff going on. That's where it all happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think Scott went over the edge when he and Emma got together.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's if that's not close, or if that's not it, that's close.
Yeah. It was the beginning of
it. Yep. Next we have Spider-Man 2 #1.
So this was a couple episodes ago. I think I mentioned this book. It's a sequel to a kind of a standalone story that Brian Michael Bendis did before Secret Wars, where you still had the two separate universes, the 616 universe and the Ultimate Universe. And at some point, Mysterio is messing with some stuff and creates a portal, and he goes to the Ultimate Universe, and Peter Parker follows him and ends up in the Ultimate Universe, where he meets Miles Morales, who's the Spider-Man over there. But also, if you remember, Peter Parker was Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe before Miles Morales was. So it's like this weird, holy crap, you're Spider-Man thing when they meet together. They do a bunch of stuff and team up. But when Peter Parker gets back here in his proper universe, he decides to Google who Miles Morales is in our universe, the main Marvel universe. And the last panel of the last issue is him going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it," and walking away before you ever see who it is. So, with that in mind, we get Spider-Man #1, where Peter and Miles have teamed up, and now they're in a dire situation where they're tied up and they're going to burn to death, and the bad guys are going to get away. Of course, being Spider-Man, they managed to get out of it. And then Peter Parker finds this weird magic anomaly going on in New York City that's very much like the portal Mysterio used last time we were here. Some weird stuff's going on at Miles' school, so he jumps into action where he crosses paths with Peter, and they both decide to investigate. As they're investigating this portal, Taskmaster walks out. It's obviously the ultimate Taskmaster. And they're about to throw down with him when we get a little scene at the very end. The very last page is who Miles Morales is in our universe.
I need to read that apparently.
Yeah, yes, you do.
Okay.
If you're into the Spider-Man stuff at all, that's important.
Okay. Yeah. Next we have what do we have? Jean Grey #4. And poor Jean Grey is still trying to just figure out young Jean Grey. What do we need to call her something? What do we call her?
Young Jean Grey.
Okay, well I guess we will. I was trying to think of a better name. I love it when you deadpan like that, young Jean Grey.
She's young Jean Grey, young beast. That's what they're doing in the books. So, it just works for me.
Yeah. Anyway,
this book I started the first couple pages of this book. I went, oh my God, why are we telling a Thor story in the middle of an X-Men book?
Yeah, but it's good.
But then it went in a really cool direction. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, because when she finds Thor, he's drunk. Yeah. Which he's been drunk a lot lately since he lost the hammer. But and who was the blonde chick that's there with him? That's human.
Bartender?
Yeah.
Oh, some bartender.
I felt like I was supposed to know who she was, but she just gets on a snowmobile and leaves when she finds out that there's orcs coming. Yeah. She's like, right, peace out. Yeah, peace out. Go.
You've been here long enough. You know where the tap is. You can refill it yourself. I'm out. Bye.
Yeah, and Thor's like, she keeps trying to tell Thor that these orcs are coming and she needs to fight, and he just keeps drinking. And
right. Well, the thing is, Jean Grey has sought out Thor to teach her to become a warrior because she has to fight the Phoenix.
Yeah, and finally she realizes even a drunk Thor kicks all the orcs' butts and leaves her body, leaves everything in its wake.
Yeah, yeah. And he's just telling stories the whole time of his previous conquests.
Yeah.
He's like, did I ever tell you about the time I kicked that thing's butt and beat up those guys and stomped on their heads? Yeah, I'm drunk and a couple of orcs are nothing for me. I'm Thor.
Yeah. And at the end of it, they finally start talking and young Jean Grey is tired and she finally gets through to Thor that she needs something from him. And he's like, well, most of it's going to be dumb luck. Know your enemy, know yourself, plan what you can, and control as much as they'll let you.
And I liked how when they're fighting the orcs, she actually conjures a psychic hammer and starts hitting people with it. They call it a big friggin' magic hammer.
Yeah. But then she can't figure out how to do it again at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good story.
It was a really good, it was a really good self-contained little one-issue story.
Yeah. I kind of had my doubts when I first read it. And then I got to reading it and when I first saw it, and then I got to reading it and I was like, oh, this is good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was good stuff, man. I'm going to go ahead and tell you it was my favorite book this week.
I'm going to go with Deadpool 33, but it's close. Or Old Man Logan 26, but it's close.
Yeah, it's a runner-up for sure.
Yeah.
Then we have Generation X #4, which we're 4 issues in, and I'm just going to go ahead and say is not as good as this Jean Grey book.
Well, there's a reason I'm not reading it.
Yeah. It's not the worst thing I've ever read, but it's not good either. Jubilee's still a vampire, which is weird because she's just like casually drinking blood all the time. She's, like at some point she's like in her kitchen in her little apartment at the X Mansion, and it's her and one of her friends, and she's just like making a blood smoothie, and just like it's nothing.
They're like people making donations so she can like drink the blood.
Right. Like, where's she getting the blood?
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. It turns out Monet, who we saw in teaming up with Sabretooth in an X-Men book before IVX, was she's living under Central Park and preying on the mutants, the young mutants. That's going on. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Then we have Old Man Logan number 26.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying it. I know you're not enjoying this.
I enjoyed this issue.
Yeah, but Old Man Hawkeye's here.
On board with the story.
Yeah, and by the way, there's an Old Man Hawkeye limited series coming out.
Yeah, I saw that.
which I'm really looking forward to. I almost bought it off the newsstand, but I have to control myself or I'll be buying. Yeah, I'm buying 10 books a week off the newsstand.
That's why I'm not buying any books.
Yeah,
because I don't have that kind of impulse control when I walk into a comic book store.
I'm at the cellar, picking up 10 books a week, spending 50, 60, 70 bucks. Yeah, just don't need to do it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, man. I wanted to. It looked good. But anyway, so it opens with Old Man Hawkeye and Old Man Logan. They're working on Logan's farm. And then it cuts to an army base up there where the Maestro is explaining to them very nicely that they need to just give the base to him. They don't. And then, dude, that's a big family of Hulks he's got.
Yep.
That's just because in
like
the
Brady Bunch, but Hulks.
Yeah, in the original Old Man Logan, you only see the Hulk gang, and there's just like 4 or 5 of them. Yeah. I mean, here there's like 20.
Yeah, it's the Brady Bunch, dude.
Yeah, man.
Or the Partridge Family.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and the Maestro's in charge, and yeah. So, and then Logan calls Puck to try and get an idea on where they're at. We cut back to Maestro, who's working on taking over this base, and dude, this is his plan to, this is his base for taking over the world. I mean, he's not just taking over the base. He plans on ruling, and this is where he's doing it from.
Yeah, this is where upon this rock he will build his kingdom.
Yeah, and so anyway, so then they find Logan. They shoot one of their members that they're not happy with. Kill Logan, or probably do kill Logan. Shoot Logan. Where's the issue at where he's talking about how many times he's died?
Oh, I don't know.
I read that recently, and he's just like, every time something like this happens, he actually dies, and then like his heart restarts and everything restarts, and he's like, this really sucks. Everybody think I've got this healing factor, and it's really easy, but it's really painful every time it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's shot to pieces again at the end of the book, and yeah. And Mike Deodato's art is great. The color's great.
It's that panel where one of the Hulk guys slaps his hands together and crushes that dude's skull. I was reading it at work and I just went, "Oh my God," out loud in the room. Everybody's like, "What?" And I'm like, "A thing."
Yeah. Yeah, man. Dude, this is just
brutal. I mean, just imagine the way you would clap your hands together to kill a gnat or a fly, but with a dude's head.
The Maestro did that, didn't he?
I don't remember, but it was one of them, and it. Whew.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, I got it.
Hulk mad, Hulk smash.
Yeah, yeah, they're slapping people, smacking heads, ripping people apart. That's one of those things that probably looked better if you were doing it panel by panel.
That's what got it. That's how it got me, because I'm reading it panel by panel, so I just flipped a panel and there it is.
Oh yeah, panel by panel. That's yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like viewing it like that. I like viewing the whole page.
See, I don't. I had to adjust myself, but I just started reading it panel by panel, and now I really prefer it that way.
I like looking at the whole page and then blowing it up and zooming in on what I want to see. I just think it looks better.
No, I understand. It's whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's one of those things where neither one's right or wrong. It's because as we're talking, I'm flipping through this panel by panel, and it's just 2 different ways of viewing it.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, Deodato's art looks good in this. Holy cow!
That's another thing is when you're reading panel by panel, you can really appreciate that art.
Yeah, it really looks good, man.
Just like for a week, just read your comic books panel to panel for a week and just see what you think.
Yeah, maybe.
Or, books that you were like, "Oh, this is a really good book that I'm really interested in with really good art. Let me do it with this."
And all you do is you just, for those who don't know, you just double tap the page.
Right.
Just double tap the page. It'll go panel to panel, double tap it again, and it'll come back to a full page.
Right. You also have the little option up in the top right-hand corner, but you can do either one. I just click the screen because I
just double tap it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we have in the Weapon of Mutant Destruction miniseries, which I'm really enjoying, actually. We have Weapon X number 5. part of this book follows one of the scientists who's working in the Weapon X lab, and she's starting to come unraveled. She's starting to have doubts about what she's doing. And it's starting to show and bleed into her personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they've got all these people holed up in some little town somewhere. Because they all like just come out of their houses and walk to work.
I guess. It's probably some facility where they all work for Weapon X, but they live in a little town like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Weapon X isn't going to let you live wherever you want to if you're working for them.
Sure.
They'll kill you.
Right.
Yeah, it's basically Area 51.
Yeah.
Then we find out that Sabretooth is on Twitter, which is weird.
That was weird.
They find this guy who was supplying chemicals to Weapon X and interrogate him. But unfortunately, Weapon X uses some nanobots to kill the guy remotely. And then, like, the head scientist guy behind Weapon X kind of starts to figure out that this chick who's been working for him is starting to have second thoughts about what she's doing. So he knocks her out and puts her in a tank, and she's the next experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's horrifying.
Horrifying.
It is. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, that's one word for it. That's yeah.
This Mutant Destruction series it's been pretty light and action packed, but every now and again it'll pluck at your heartstring a little. Like, when they're talking about these cyborgs that are after them, it's like, yeah, these guys used to be people. Now they're machines.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Next, we have our Venomverse book for the week, which is Age of Venomverse number 2, Gwenpool.
Yeah, it's Gwenpool book.
Great cover from Francesco Mattina. Great cover. And then Irene Strakowski does the art. And it's that whole Gwenpool art where I don't even know what you describe it, but it's like funny and scary at the same time.
It's kind of like an Americanized anime type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, it's like 1 minute she's funny Gwenpool, and the next she's got like a giant venom head eating ninja. So it's really kind of creepy and at the same time. So anywho, she winds up meeting Matt Murdock. Gwenpool does, not the character, but the person. Right. She meets Matt Murdock. She gets a crush on Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock and her, decide to go on a date, but the more ninjas hook up. And then at the end, it really gets confusing there on page 22, because she knows she's in a comic book. She knows she's in an alternate reality. And even Venom tries to warn her, and then she just disappears.
Yeah.
She's literally snatched away. And I'm just like, what's happening here? I don't understand. So, yeah, it interested me. I didn't think I'd be this interested in a Venom book, but that interested me there at the end.
Yeah, it's got my attention.
Yeah,
for sure.
What doesn't have my attention is Black Panther and the Crew number 4.
This issue got my attention. It hasn't been a bad book, but this issue is actually really good. Written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Yana Harvey, pencils by Butch Geis, and ink by Scott Hanna. Colorist is Dan Brown. The art in this book is actually pretty good, I think. But you get you have a little flashback to 1964 in Mississippi, to what is essentially it's the events that the movie Mississippi Burning are based off of, where those 3 voters' rights workers were murdered by essentially the cops and the Ku Klux Klan in Mississippi.
Sure. The cops were the Ku Klux Klan.
Right. Yeah, they were. Um, it's kind of like a flashback to the old crew and how they handled that situation then. And then, that's what Misty's thinking about now as someone has blown up Luke Cage's apartment, a Hydra agent. So they decide to team up together and go track down some info. Leads them to the guy who's the head of AmeriCops. Their questions for him are like, hey, look, AmeriCops are everywhere in New York now. And there was a big old explosion and there was a big fight with some superheroes and it went on for a while and you guys never showed up. Why is that? And they essentially accuse him of protecting property and political positions and not people.
Right.
Yeah, and the rest of the book is really Misty ruminating on what that is, what she's learning through this experience, her and Luke Cage both, and seeing the game that's within the game. I actually really enjoyed this issue, and am now a little bummed it's being canceled in 2 issues.
Well, I may go back and read it. No, I think it's canceled after number 5, isn't it?
Oh, 1 more issue. Great.
Wasn't many.
Nah, it's one of those books that got axed after like the 2nd or 3rd issue. And it's just like, how does a book find an audience when it doesn't even make it 6 issues?
Dude, it's hard, man. And we discussed it ad nauseum last week. About how hard comic book sales are. But it's, I mean, how many copies of this does Jason or Bob even know to buy when it's on order? And is it going to sell or is it going to sit on the shelf? And dude, it's
it's a cluster.
Yeah, it is. It really is. The Defenders number 3. Another series is coming to an end eventually because Brian Michael Bendis is leaving Marvel, but we have a lot of issues to go before that happens.
Yeah.
And in this issue, basically the theme of this issue is, what is Diamondback and how did he get back here and
how's he alive?
He alive and where did all the money come from and where did all the drugs come from and where did all the power come from and how did this just happen? And that's really the theme of this issue. And there is no answer. But it opens with him mad at Black Cat because she saved Daredevil's life, which she did last issue. And it's pretty funny because he makes a joke about being 5 steps ahead of her and she doesn't even know what the moves are. And he looks at her. Finally, she looks at him as she's leaving and says, well, if you're 5 steps ahead of me, do something about it.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the heroes who are all at the night nurse's house, hospital, whatever.
Clinic.
Facility. Thank you. Recovering where they've been shot, mutilated. Yeah. The Punisher took them out last issue, and I don't think any of them are happy about it. Then we go to it's just a bunch of panels on people ruminating on where they think Diamondback came from. And finally, we cut to a couple of guys, a couple of mafiosos eating lasagna, discussing the same subject. Where did Diamondback get his power? Where did he come from? And Frank Castle appears. And that's a really good panel there where Frank Castle just kind of appears behind the guy.
Yeah. And then what he does to the guy.
Well, he kills one of them. He's going to kill the other.
Well, he kills him, but he takes a combat knife and just stabs him right through the top of the skull. Like a knife through butter, man. And he's just sitting there and interrogates the other dude. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, until Daredevil and Luke Cage show up.
Hi, Frank. And I liked how that's how Daredevil greeted Punisher.
Well, Daredevil isn't even really interested because he knows Luke's going to take him out. And if Luke wasn't mad and taking him out before, Punisher throws acid on him, which makes it that much worse.
Ruins another one of his shirts.
Ruins another shirt. He's like, dude, who carries acid around? Well, the Punisher does. Yeah. And finally, Luke just chokes him out. He's just like, I'm over this. All right, I'm going to choke him out. We're done here. And then we cut to Jessica and Danny, who are on a stakeout looking for Diamondback. Danny decides to fight him. And, dude, he takes out he actually stops the Iron Fist in mid swing and then breaks Danny's back.
Yeah, Bane style.
Yeah, Iron Fist. Danny Rand, Iron Fist. Then breaks his back, man.
Yeah,
Bane style.
Really, I mean, you look at that piece of art; it's very reminiscent of when Bane breaks Bruce Wayne's back. I think it's not necessarily an homage, but a hey, we know what this looks like kind of thing.
Yeah,
maybe like a small homage. Anyway,
yep.
Yeah, man. Things are looking bad for those guys.
Oh, and there's something else I didn't discuss, and I've actually already got my next book open. There's a theme here where they don't know who Daredevil is behind the mask.
Yeah.
And Punisher doesn't trust him. This becomes an ongoing theme in this book.
Really?
And even Luke's like, I feel like I should know who you are. And maybe I do, but I don't seem to. Why is that?
It's almost as if they've never really thought about it before. Like somehow they just, we know who he is. He's Daredevil. And they're like, wait, hang on. We actually don't, now that I think about it, I don't know who Daredevil is. Do you? Do you know who? Nobody knows, but I feel like I should know, but I don't. Weird.
Yeah. So this is going to become an ongoing thing for a few issues. Yeah.
Yeah. So, his identity seems to be a sticking point in the whole Daredevil saga right now.
Yeah. So anywho, that brings us to Doctor Strange, Diana Ross, and the Supremes #10.
Yeah. This book's whatever. So they were able to defeat the monster thingy and Isaac Newton. That whole story got real weird. But in order to do so, Wiccan did something and now he has the mark of death on him. There's a weird cameo by the Wrecking Crew for some reason. And as he's like losing consciousness, he has this memory of what is the future for us, but the past for him, where he's fighting with the X-Men of the future against the Brood. And things go really, really bad. And so he makes a deal with the devil in hell to be able to win this battle. And as we find out, the devil is the ruler of hell at this point in time is Dr. Doom.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
So he's able to save the day, but it comes at a great cost. Finally, after that, back in the present, Doctor Strange figures out they need to transport him back to his time in order to save him. So they literally go to the future of hell. What is the future to them, but the present for Wiccan, the hell that he went to when he made the deal, and confront Dr. Doom, who takes the mask off and is revealed to be Valeria Richards. She is Dr. Doom, ruler of hell.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was quite a twist.
Yeah, I
was like, whoa, okay, not at all what I expected. Also, she's got a pretty gnarly scar. So,
yeah. How about Hulk #8?
Hulk #8 is, I actually went back and caught up on a bunch of issues here. This book's pretty good. I like this book. The meat of the story is that Jennifer Walters is putting together and investigating a story where some kid was given street drugs to turn him into a Hulk-like monster for YouTube likes. This douchebag kid was, sabotaged this not this photo shoot, but they're shooting like a baking video for YouTube. And this guy, in the name of, getting likes on YouTube and making lots of money, poisons this guy without his knowledge and creates a real crisis. And, if you pay attention to what anybody does on YouTube, that sounds real familiar right about now. Anyway.
It really does.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider this was written a year ago.
Yeah. The incident with the Logan Paul incident had not yet happened.
Right. So
Jennifer eventually has to figures out she has to Hulk up to take on this Hulk beast that this kid's become because he's angry and scared and confused and starting to run amok. But she can't just become the Hulk like she used to. She has to like get mad. And when she does, she becomes a different Hulk than she used to. She's not the same Hulk that she used to be. So she literally hurls herself off the top of a building and turns into the Hulk and crash lands just before hitting the pavement. That's how the issue ends. So yeah, it was not half bad. I've enjoyed this book pretty
very
well.
good. Very good. Next we have Rocket number 3, which it's not my favorite book, but it's not terribly bad. And I'll do a quick recap here because I'm not really that into it. But Gatecrasher is the woman he was in love with. She got him thrown in jail. Now he's in this intergalactic inescapable prison when he gets a visitor who happens to be Gatecrasher. And they're going to break him out. And he's like, oh, you're going to break me out because you love me and we're special. She's like, no, we're going to break you out so we can reclaim the bounty a second time. Yeah. It's no love lost whatsoever. Rocket gets away, winds up in a bar where there's a whole bunch of fourth wall jokes before Deadpool appears. And of course, Rocket says, I don't get the jokes. He doesn't get the fourth wall jokes.
No, of course not.
So it's okay. Deadpool's everywhere.
Everywhere.
He's going to be in the Defender soon. He's here. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Yeah. He's everywhere. Well, what was that dude's name? I forget. You just lost funny videos. Anyway. Steve something or other. Okay. Venom number 152. Venom, if you remember, was hired by Alchemax to round up a bunch of symbiote-like weapons that they had developed that escaped the lab. He does this by teaming up with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and fighting lizard people. That's Venom number 152.
Okay. That is a quicker review that I'm going to give Zombies number 0.
All right.
Because, dude, I don't care, man. This is this black and white Marvel Zombies magazine that's 44 pages long that I couldn't.
If you like that stuff, great. It's there. We don't care for it, so it's pretty much getting tossed overboard.
I really don't. It's in a different universe. It's in black and white. It's in yeah.
I got you, man.
No.
We also had Vision Director's Cut number 2. If you liked that Vision series by Tom King and wanted to see a bunch of really cool concept art and the scripting and storyboarding process that went on to make this thing, read this. It's good. It has all the original story in it, but the other half of the book is all behind the scenes stuff, and it's the most in-depth behind the scenes stuff I've seen in any comic book in a long time.
And it's really cool. There are different pages of it shows the art being developed. It shows just all kinds of different things, and it's really really good. Yeah.
Yeah. You got his pitch for the series in the first issue. Now you're getting the writing and art process. You get to see the actual scripts being written, consultation on the scripts, some of the storyboard art that they were trading back and forth while writing the thing. Dude, if you like that stuff, this is gold to you.
Yeah. It's good, man. It's really good. I really do enjoy this.
Yeah, stuff like this I don't always get into, but when it's a series like this Vision series that I've really enjoyed, I get into it.
Yeah.
Something else that's pretty good is Squirrel Girl number 22. Understand this book's outselling Cable right now, which if you're reading that Cable book, you totally understand why. So Doreen, Squirrel Girl, and her roommate, being computer science majors in college, decide to enter a computer programming contest. They end up winning this contest. Their prize for winning the contest is an all expenses paid trip to the Savage Land. And there's actually a really funny scene where Doreen and her roommate get in an argument because her roommate thinks that it's a scam because the Savage Land isn't real. It's just made up. And Doreen's like, no, it's real. Remember we went and saw that movie about it? And she was like, what? He's like, yeah, it was a documentary. She's like, I didn't realize it was a documentary. And it's like, yeah, you've read the Wikipedia page. And she was like, yeah, and I reported it as fiction. She was like, next you're going to tell me Atlantis is real too. And Doreen's like, yeah, about that. So they're like, okay, cool. We're going to go to the Savage Land. They fly to the Savage Land and they go to the Savage Land gift shop and buy all the Savage Land merchandise and just go on a big Savage Land safari.
There you go.
Yeah, it's actually really good because it gets into some of the history of the Savage Land, and as always, the little blurbs at the bottom of the pages are always the best part of this book.
Yeah,
so it's good stuff, man.
Good.
If you like Squirrel Girl, it's a good issue of Squirrel Girl.
Well, that brings us to our Star Wars books, and I'm actually doing a Star Wars book this week. This week, I
assigned you a Star Wars book.
I have Darth Vader #3. And this is really good. This is what I tell you. This is the Star Wars book I've enjoyed the most in a while. That Dr. Aphra book is good, but this Darth Vader book is good because he's got to get a kyber crystal to power his lightsaber, and he decides to go after Master Kirak Infala.
Yeah,
sure.
It's Master Coda from the Star Wars Unleashed series.
Okay, if you say so. And because
they're just a different name. That's it.
There just aren't many Jedi out there left to take their lightsaber away from.
Right. The ones that weren't slaughtered by stormtroopers are few and far between.
Right. So Vader goes after Dude. Dude knows he's coming and immediately know who's Vader is and what Vader did. And he's just like, tell you what, just come on up here and fight, man. We'll settle this. And he stomps Vader pretty quickly, man.
Yeah. He Vader underestimates him and gets it. He loses that fight real quick. But yeah, he ain't done. Now he's pissed.
Yeah, he's not done, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But this is a really, as you discussed earlier, sometimes you just want good fight scenes, and this is just a good book with a lot of fighting in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good art, good dialogue. I like this character. It's good.
Yeah, Charles Soule's doing it, who's also doing Daredevil and one of the X-Men books, or was doing the X-Men books. I forget. That dude's doing really good stuff, and I hope Marvel hangs on to him.
Yeah, me too. At this point, I just hope they don't lose anyone else.
That's me, man. But Charles Soule's one of those guys that, he's in a position to be able to steer this boat if he wants to.
Yeah, I think so.
Then we had Dr. Aphra #9. It was all right. She has decided she's going to auction off this crystal that holds the consciousness of the ancient Jedi or whatever. So she assembles all the seedy mercenaries and gangs of the galaxy and brings them to her space station and throws a big old party and says, here's what you're bidding on. But you've got, these Rhodian space pirates and the Hutts are there. And yeah, it's just, it's a hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah.
And, it also turns out that her crazy torture droids are spying on her for Darth Vader.
Well, I never would have trusted him in the first place, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Not half bad. Pretty good book.
Yep, and that's all our books for the week.
I've already told you that Jean Grey book's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Deadpool 33. That's I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I like what they're doing with Deadpool, and this is obviously going somewhere. And it's for the first 27, 28, 29 issues, we had the happy-go-lucky Deadpool. Well, we don't have that anymore. and I like the character change that they're making with the storyline.
Right. And there seems to be a trend where the book that seems to surprise me the most ends up being my favorite. And that was Jean Grey this time. A lot of times there's books that I'm just like, oh, okay, that looks like it'll be good. And then, or even I'm like, I don't really want to read this, and it surprises me.
Right.
I was looking forward to the Jean Grey book, but I started reading it. And I was like, oh, this is good. So that was the big surprise for me. In the dump this week, we had some early 2001 X-Men stuff. It was, what did you tell me it was?
This is actually good stuff. Let me think about this. You got to go look at Uncanny to see how this works. If you look up Uncanny Volume 1, what you'll see is it runs like 1 through 64, 65. And then it picks up again at 94. Because the intervening issues in between, which lasted several years, lasted 5 or 6 years, were all reprints. They were just reprinting the earlier books. And
really?
Yeah, dude, they reprinted it for, I don't think a decade, but a long time, man, like 5 or 6 years.
Why?
Because it wasn't selling.
Okay.
So they just started printing reprints. And you got to understand, in the 70s, what happened is you had all the books, from 63 to 70, 71, 72, that silver age of comics that where Stan Lee and Jack Kirby started Marvel. And then comics really got popular in the mid to late 70s, and you couldn't go online and read them. You couldn't go to, you didn't have access to a comic book store. So they would reprint them. Sometimes in the main title, which is what they did here. Sometimes they had different issues, like Marvel Triple Action was an Avengers reprint book, and they had other reprint books.
Yeah.
So they just reprint, and people bought them and read them because you had no other way to gain access to the back issues. Yeah,
so
I mean,
there was just no X-Men stories for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And then okay, all right. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and then they relaunched it with Giant Size #1 and Uncanny 94 that they relaunched it. What this does is this is called The Hidden Years. It's written and drawn by John Byrne, and it's really good. This is all 22 issues. It's some of Byrne's really good work. Dude, it's good, man. It's good stuff, and it's what happened in that those intervening years.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I actually might go read some of that.
Yeah,
I'm an X-Men guy,
so it's not bad, man.
Right. Speaking of the X-Men, we're going to be doing a What's Next episode here soon. Pat's going to do one on Planet Hulk. That'll be the next one, but then we're going to jump into the Messiah saga, starting with Messiah Complex. And it's the first in a 3 story arc installment, a saga, I guess you'd say, of X-Men. And that'll pretty much, like, that was really the crowning jewel of the late 2000s of the X-Men. There was some good stuff after that, but that's really kind of like the highest note it hit until very recently. So we'll be doing that. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.com.
And as has become our tradition, Pat, before we go, do you have any wisdom for our true believers?
This is why you keep your door locked. A guy broke into my house last week. He didn't steal the TV, just a remote. Now he just drives by randomly changing my channels when I'm watching him.
You should call the Punisher.
I should.
That's a capital crime. Not prime. Crime. Yeah. Call Frank Castle. He'll handle it.
I think so.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Okay.
I gotta pee.
Okay, go pee.
No, I really don't. Just go to Planet Hulk in the tab.
Dude, go pee.
Well, yeah, but I'm gonna pee first. I was telling you where to go.
Oh, where am I going?
Just browse, and under events is Planet Hulk.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. I'll be back.
All right.
Okay, I feel better now.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I knew that would make you happy.
You got notes for what's next? Or?
No, none at all.
Okay. You got the intro for what's next. It's been a minute.
Yes. I was thinking about it when I was in the restroom. Yes.
Okay. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
Look at something real quick. Yeah, we basically got like 154 listens since last week.
That's cool.
Yeah. Lots of as has been the case for a minute, lots of downloads from Japan.
Why Japan?
I don't know. There's 63 people in Tokyo who like this podcast.
63 people in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All righty then.
Maybe the only way they can read Marvel Comics is through Marvel Unlimited.
You know, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we need to keep remembering to reference United States when we're doing things.
They know.
Well, yeah.
Listen to us.
They were rednecks from the South. Of course they know.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
We speak English. We have American accents.
Korg. That's the name I was trying to remember. Korg. Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna learn Japanese and just like start doing the podcast in Japanese, right? Is that what we're doing?
Actually, my goal is to learn Spanish so I can communicate with the Hispanic church that we're now sharing a chapel with.
Yeah, I should have taken a language class at some point. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's talk about Planet Hulk.
Give me just 10 seconds. Maybe 30, but
you ever wonder that the people who get mad at people for speaking other languages are mad because they don't speak that language? Because that's what I think.
Possibly.
I think it makes them feel stupid. Not everybody, but people who, why I gotta press 1 for English in America. That type. Those types.
Oh man, I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder if it's on Hulu. I'm
What are you
looking for
looking for?
The Planet Hulk cartoon.
It'd probably be on Netflix.
It wasn't.
Let me here. I've got my desktop up. I can look. I can look at it better than you can.
That's what I was just looking at.
It may not be there.
Well, it used to be on Netflix.
Yeah, it used to be. Lots of things used to be on Netflix.
Yeah, it's not there, man.
Incredible Hulk from the 70s is on Hulu. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope, not there. Lego Superheroes Avengers Reassembled is on there.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw Lego Batman the other day.
Did you?
Yeah. Wasn't half bad. I mean, it's a kid's movie for sure, but it's got its humor. I can see why kids like it.
I watched. What did I watch the other day? Oh, I watched Fast and Furious 8, Fate of the Furious last night.
Oh, I hadn't seen that one yet.
You know,
I've seen
when you
all
just
of them.
suspend disbelief and
Mhm.
accept that there's no possible way they can do these things with these cars, but they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. I mean, at some point, a submarine is chasing the cars. Okay. The cars run like 100, 120. The sub's got a top speed of like 40 miles an hour, tops.
Right. And it's also confined to water.
Well, it's cutting through ice as it does it.
Sure. But
Sure. I mean, so once you just say, okay, I'm just going to accept these things and roll with them.
but you can drive on a road through a mountain range. Submarine ain't doing it.
Right. I mean, so you just kind of like, okay, whatever. Once you accept those things, you're like, all right, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I need to see that one. I'll tell you what else I watched the other day is the animated version of The Killing Joke.
I got that book out of. I meant to mention that. We need to make a note so I can come back and mention it next week. I've got that. I checked that book out of the library.
Yeah, I knew you and I had talked about it. Had you never read it?
No.
Oh, dude. The Killing Joke is what made me afraid of the Joker.
No, and it's the new version where the artist went back and recolored it himself because he didn't like the way it was colored the first time.
Yeah.
It was republished a couple of years ago, and really good, man, really good.
When you're done with that, you need to read The Long Halloween.
I probably will. They got omnibuses at the library.
I need to go to the library.
I'm telling you, man, it was just like 2 or 3 bookcases full of graphic novels, and I was like, okay, what do I pick here? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Monday or Tuesday. Well, I can't do it tomorrow, but Tuesday I'm just gonna go to the library. That's the thing I'm gonna do.
Let's go to the Springville Road Library. Better yet, just ride downtown.
Dude, the Pinson Library is right around the corner.
And the thing to do, you just look online, figure out what you want,
and have them transfer it.
And have them transfer it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, the animated Killing Joke's really good because Kevin Conroy comes back to do the voice of Batman and Mark Hamill's doing the Joker. Anyway, that's
what's an in? Is it Netflix, Hulu? Where was it?
I saw it on HBO.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
then that means it's on my HBO app, and I'll find
it. I just happened to be flipping through channels, and I was like, "What's on HBO?" Oh, it's really good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll look for it then.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Yep. Count us in.
3, 2, 1.
Hello again. This is the What's Next podcast, and I'm Pat.
And I am Sean.
And we're here to discuss what to read after you've read the weekly comics in Marvel Unlimited. What comes out every week. What to read next? What stories are great to read and delve into? And this week we're going to discuss Planet Hulk.
A classic.
Yeah, it is a classic. And I tell you why. Classic. I was literally looking for things to do for this podcast, because I'm always looking for offbeat stories. And this one's only like, see, you think 2006 was a long time ago. I don't think 2006 was a long time ago. It's an age thing. Okay.
It feels like a long time ago to me because that was a lifetime ago. But yeah.
I'm 53. Okay. 1985 was a long time ago.
Yeah. In 2006, I was 17. So
yeah, there you go. But this came out in 2006. And I wanted to read it. And I'm sure I've read this before, but it's been a very long. It may have been 2006 was the last time I read it. So it may very well have been 12 years since I read the thing. But I didn't remember how much of this story was used in Thor Ragnarok. And as we talk about it, I mean, if you read the Wikipedia page, you know, it says, by the way, there's a cartoon that Marvel put out, and it's Thor Ragnarok. That's what the Wikipedia page says. And that's how much of that movie was lifted from this storyline.
Yeah.
So, great. And this is also, I don't remember how far before this. I'd have to look, and I don't have notes in front of me. How far Greg Pak had been writing Planet or Hulk, I should say, but the Hulk had just become kind of stale. I mean, it wasn't. And you can only do so many Hulk smash storylines.
Yeah,
and that's why right now we've got Amadeus Cho as the Hulk, because you can just you can only rehash that storyline so many times. Because it's just, dude, how many times can you make the Hulk mad and have him go run around smashing things?
Hulk can only smash so long before Hulk get bored.
Yeah, really. That's kind of the way it is. And, Peter David did some good work on it, but and this thing was actually Joe Quesada's ideal, I think. Yeah, Joe Quesada's ideal. Planet Hulk was. And they went to Greg Pak, and Greg Pak was like, all right, what do I get to do with it? He was like, well, you get to do everything. Create the world, create the characters, figure out who you want to play with. Just have at it. And he just created this own little Planet Hulk universe, which is really cool. What happens is, and it's not listed. If you go to the Browse tab, you see all the Planet Hulk books. Well, it doesn't talk about how he got there. It references it in issue 92, but there's a Illuminati one shot, and this is back when Brian Michael Bendis was writing New Avengers, and you had the Illuminati there. And in the preceding issues, like 88 through 91, I think, Hulk had lost control and just destroyed Las Vegas. I mean, he completely trashed Las Vegas, kind of like the Secret Empire did a few issues ago, kind of like Hydra did. He had trashed Las Vegas. And they were like, how many times is he going to do this? This was the Illuminati talking to themselves. How many times is he going to do this? How many times is he going to create damage, hurt people, injure people, kill people before we're accountable for not doing something with him? And what they decided to do was just put him on they find a planet there's just nobody there. There's life, there's plants, grass, trees, but no person, maybe animals, but no person for the Hulk to kill. So they decided to put him on a spaceship, track him into getting on a spaceship, and send him to that planet. Well, about halfway there, the spaceship gets sucked into the wormhole, which directs him to planet Hulk, just like you see in Thor Ragnarok. Okay, you got the wormhole that sucks Thor and Hulk into whatever they call that world. I don't know what they call him in the movie. But he gets sent there, and it's just like you see in the movie. It's a gladiator world. It
could be Battle World if they ever wanted to go that route.
Right. And he's forced to fight, and they kind of depower him for a few issues, which makes it make sense. And they tell how to depower it, how to depower him. And with each issue, he's kind of getting his strength back. And he tells everybody in issue 92, which is the first issue of the arc, that, hey, I'm going to rule this planet. Okay, you just write this down. I'm going to kill all of you. I'm going to take over the planet, and it's coming. And they just kind of laugh at him. But with each issue, he gets a little bit of his strength back, where finally, 5 or 6 issues in, sure enough, he's overthrown the king. He's leading a rebellion, and you have Planet Hulk. And he meets up with and this is where the Warbound is formed. The Warbound it's Korg and Meek, both from the movie. You know, Meek that's in the movie was created here by Greg Pak in this series. Dude, that scene where Meek's almost dead at the end of Thor Ragnarok's hilarious. Where you remember where Korg thinks he's toting around Meek's dead body,
right? And he's actually alive. Yeah,
and Meek actually says something.
There's Jeff, who's also dead, who is dead.
Yeah,
Jeff's dead.
Yeah, dude, all these characters are from Planet Hulk, and what happens at the end is he takes over the planet. Gets a bride, has a son who is Scar. It's Skaar. I think it's pronounced Scar.
It's Scar.
Yeah, and that's his son, and he's living happily ever after when the spaceship that the Illuminati sent him there on accidentally blows up. And when it blows up, it destroys the world, kills his wife, and he and his Warbound are like, you know what? We're going to go to Earth and we're going to explain it to these people. And that leads to World War Hulk, which we'll discuss another time. But this is a great series, man. And it runs what is this? 13 issues, about a year and a half in real time.
It's like 92 to 105, something like that.
Yeah, 92 to 105. It's a great series, and it because it took the Hulk out of just the whole Hulk smash thing and got him doing something different, introduced new characters, introduced the Warbound. The last I saw, the Warbound are still roaming around Earth. You know, Korg's still around Earth. They're all still here. They're just not being used by Marvel at this time. Dude, it's a really good story. Sometimes we overlook it. You know, we overlook these things in the browse tab. At least I do, because I'm always looking for something deeper. But this is a good story, man. It's a very good story. Have you read it recently?
Not recently. It's probably been.
But see, you're not a big Hulk guy.
Yeah, I'm really not. It's been a little while since I've read it.
Yeah, you remember which Hulk
movie? I probably only read it the one time.
Which Hulk movie had the Gamma Dogs in it?
Oh, was it the
first one or the second one?
Well, was it the really crappy first one from like 2003 or the first one that was it the Hulk or the Incredible Hulk?
I don't know, but one of them had the Gamma Dogs. That was like this kind of story arcs that were preceding this one.
Right.
So they weren't, you know, it wasn't like they were terrible, but they weren't great either.
You're not really doing anything with the character. You're just treading water.
Right. It's just, you know, they just weren't good stories. And this let them really reach out and do something better with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize Deodato drew some of those issues.
Yeah, Deodato did Hulk for a little while there.
He did, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, go back and read this.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff on Marvel for a long time.
Yeah, so it was, you know, it was just, I mean, it had gotten stale. And this allowed him to revamp the character, take it in a different direction, and do something with it, which is really good. Go ahead.
I was going to say, then it led to World War Hulk, which was an even better series. I mean, you had a time there where, you know, Hulk was the thing. People were into the Hulk for a minute.
Yeah, that was World War Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm looking at a Lee Weeks cover and I can't remember the guy, but there's a Southern rock band called Molly Hatchet, and they had this guy's art that was always on the covers of their albums.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got there's an homage to one of his, and he's a very famous artist. But a lot of people just know him for the Molly Hatchet covers. But there's an homage to one of his pieces of artwork here.
Squirrel Girl this week, the cover was a homage to Frank Frazetta. Is it Frank Frazetta? Is that his name? I don't know if he's the one who did the Molly Hatchet covers. He might be. Frank Frazetta is pretty well known.
Spell his last name.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I can. Hang on. F-R-E-Z-E-T-T. Yeah. E-T-T-A.
Of course, Wikipedia doesn't show his art. Yes, that's it. Okay, yeah.
Is it Frank Frazetta? I wondered if it was.
Frazetta. Okay. because if you go to his Wikipedia page, his most famous painting is a picture of Death on a horse, and that's the cover of this 81, which precedes this.
Yeah, that Death Dealer.
Yeah, it's got Hulk on a horse as the Death Dealer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I had a roommate that had a framed poster of that he kept in his room.
You know, and I've liked the Hulk, and I enjoy the Hulk. I just at times it gets like the stuff they're doing with Amadeus Cho right now is okay. You know, it's all right. You know, we've always warned you. We always do warn you that we discuss spoilers. They're sending Amadeus Cho back to Planet Hulk.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Sometime as part of Marvel Legacy in the upcoming months. But yeah, it's you know, these are good stories, man. And this is a good story. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed going back and rereading it again.
To me, if you're going to read a Hulk story, if you're going to introduce somebody to Hulk, this is where you do it.
Yeah. You let them read this and then right into Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like, hey, what Hulk should I read? This is what you read. This is
it. This is what you read, man. So anyway, that's Planet Hulk.
Yeah. Modern classic. If you haven't read it, go read it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if you want to get in touch with us and if you have any suggestions about what we should read for this show, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. Also visit the website.
www.6monthsbehind.com, where I will have links to that Illuminati book and Planet Hulk.
Cool. All right, guys. We will see you next time.
Peace.